For longer stories, please check the pinned comment and description for link. This bonus story is not included in any of my ebooks.
This story illustrates the sinking of heavy cruiser Kako by an old U.S. submarine, the S-44, as the Japanese Cruiser Division 6 returned to Korea unescorted following their major victory over the Allied forces during the Battle of Savo Island. The almost unbearable stillness was shattered by Parker's voice, the sonarman, sharp and urgent over the intercom. Contact, multiple, bearing 270, closing, massive signatures, sir, 4 of them. Lieutenant Commander Jesse L. Hull, the skipper of S-44, was at the periscope within seconds, his hands moving instinctively. Benning, the executive officer, stood by the attack plot ready to translate Hull's commands into numbers for the fire control party. The hum of the S-44's electric motors, drawing power from the rapidly depleting batteries, felt deafening in the sudden tension. Identification! Hull's voice was a low growl, barely audible above the boat's internal noises. Heavy cruisers, sir! Appear to be the Aoba and Furutaka classes. Parker's voice was edged with tension. Hull didn't hesitate. Battle stations. Prepare to fire bow tubes 1 through 4. The commands echoed through the boat. Men scrambled to their positions, a practiced, almost silent ballet honed by countless drills. The clatter of feet, the sharp clang of hatches being secured, the low hum of the torpedo tubes pressurizing. Every man knew the stakes. Their batteries were critically low. They wouldn't have power for evasive maneuvers for long. Surfacing in these waters was a death sentence. Benning's voice, steady and clear, cut through the rising tension. Commander, we only get 1 shot. Our batteries won't take another approach if we miss. Hull's eyes fixed on the periscope narrowed and said, "Then let's make it count, Fred." Hull's commands were crisp, almost whispered as the S-44 slowly, agonizingly rose to periscope depth. The view through the periscope was a stark for the tacit, the dark silhouettes of 4 Japanese warships cutting through the calm evening waters, completely unaware of the obsolete predator lurking beneath them. The Kako was the nearest, her superstructure a hulking shadow against the fading light. Bearing, mark! Range, mark! Hull's mind was a whirlwind of calculations. He called out the angles, the approximate speed of the target, the slight drift of his own boat. Red Malloy in the torpedo room listened to the commands, his hands working with a practiced precision, setting the gyros, flooding the tubes. He knew the quirks of the Mark 10 torpedoes, their slow speed and their temperamental firing mechanisms. Stand by to fire tubes 1, 2, 3, 4. Solution, range 700 yards. They were almost under her keel. But it was also their only chance to guarantee a hit with these old, slow torpedoes. Fire 1, Hull barked. A muffled whoosh. Fire 2, another shudder through the hull. Fire 3. Fire 4. 4 torpedoes shot out into the deep. A breathless silence descended upon the S-44. Every man held his breath, listening, waiting. Then the water erupted. Not 1 but 3 distinct concussive thuds reverberated through the S-44's hull. Hull lowered the periscope, his face grim but resolute. Impacts. 3 definite impacts, amidships. On the surface, the Kako seemed to recoil, listing heavily to port. A monstrous plume of black smoke and fire billowed from its midsection, reaching for the darkening sky. Kako, the triumphant cruiser, began to break apart, her stern rising grotesquely into the air before plunging beneath the waves. She was gone in less than 5 minutes. The other Japanese cruisers, suddenly roused to furious alarm by the loss of their consort, began frantic maneuvers. Their searchlights raked the water, their radios undoubtedly spitting desperate orders. They lacked the means to actively hunt a submerged submarine. The S-44 returned to port days later. There was no fanfare, no cheering crowds lining the docks. Lieutenant Commander Hull was quietly awarded the Navy Cross, a simple ceremony in a stuffy office, far from the public eye. The crew was granted a brief shore leave, then moved on to their next mission, another patrol in another forgotten corner of the vast Pacific.